Well, I am with the lovely Zoe Layden, MD of Clavo Consulting, an insurance specialist. And we've just been talking the very important point of, you'll note my hair is up now, hair and nails, the other side effects of being quarantined. How are you doing, Zoe? How are you doing with all of this?
Hi, Liz. I'm doing good, actually. I mean, well, it's all relative, but no, doing well. Really interesting time when you start to get a little intellectual on it and start to think about ways you can educate, ways you can think of new concepts. And so it's weirdly, well, like the outside door is shut, the inside door has been opened. So I'm taking it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so, what we were going to talk about some different things, weren't we? Some insurance and some
we are, and
mechanisms.
Before we move on to that, I love the concept, the idea that you've got going, the chart you were telling me about. Could you tell everybody about that and how we could perhaps copy that? Because I think it's a great idea.
Okay, so the chart idea, it's my daughter helped me name it. We're calling it the Happy Lockdown Chart. It is a concept that was developed by my father. My father was a professor of English, and he had marking paper, like graph paper, and he was very into dental hygiene. So he drew my brother and I, he didn't want us to get cavities. So he made a chart for each of us over our bed on graph paper and marked out each week. And every day you put a check in the day that you brushed your teeth, and then you get a quarter at the end of the week. So along the lines of, God rest him, thinking of my dad in these times, I wonder what he'd be thinking. Oh my God. I've done a Happy Lockdown chart for each member of my family. And it's like, I kind of thought of it first for someone in my family who is acting like he's in prison, but it's not about that. But it's a chart of calendar, blank calendar. And then every day you make a mark on your day and you write a happy thing that happened to you. Simple, little things, nothing big. And then I drew a happy face at the end of 21 days because we were originally told it was a 3-week thing. So we'll see.
That's a fabulous idea. I'm going to copy that. I think it's great. Just seeing those little moments and, appreciating. I think that's a great thing about this time, is really appreciating things that would have passed me.
Yeah, exactly. I know it's very kind of popular, the living in the day and, appreciating every moment and all that stuff. We've all heard that in some, woohoo kind of talk sometimes. But in this time, why not embrace that? But I will bring a note of reality, is that I've got 5 people in my household. 2 of the people in my household, I won't name names to protect them. 2 people sneered at me and 2 people went, amazing. So, it's not everybody's cup of tea, and I accept that.
No, it's a great idea, though, for anyone who is of that mindset. A bit of practical action to note it is great. Now, certainly, moving on now to, you were telling me about this in the spirit of just what we've talked about, this concept of forbearance and where you've learned about it or reheard about it. Can you describe what that is?
Okay, so I heard the word on a radio program the other day, and I put it together with my thinking about the insurance world at the moment. My background is aviation insurance, and specifically, I was thinking about the supply chain of airline finance. And then subsequent to that is a great podcaster. His name's Mark Geoghegan. And he used to be the editor of the Insurance Insider, and he started a podcast series interviewing some really great minds to share knowledge across the industry sectors, because the corporate insurance industry tends to be quite siloed, and his vision is to share education and knowledge across. So he has a podcast series called Voice of Insurance, and he also talked about who's going to come out with more integrity after this is over. And with regard to insurance in general, and the players and how we act. So I was thinking of telling you how the insurance and leasing world hangs together in airline, and just throw some concepts out I am not asking anyone to do anything. I'm not a broker. I'm not an underwriter. I was both in my past, but I am not right now. I'm a consultant. And these are just my thoughts about how we can all collaborate and work together for the good of the industry. Also, I wanted to note Mark Bailey's interview with you, because he said the same thing about associations. You know, the associations, I think I really value the associations' work, all of them that I'm involved in. I mean, I can't value all of them because I don't know them all, but I value what they try to do for their industry segments. And I think that working together right now is the key.
So absolutely, I totally agree. And thank you for flagging up the podcast. We can put a note underneath in the comments. But can you explain to what then, in that spirit, what is forbearance in terms of what we could be doing now?
Okay, so let me just, in the spirit of education at the time,
yeah,
and sharing new concepts, the people watching can find this information out anywhere.
Yeah.
It's my own. But so what happens? So you have an airline, okay? Airline, generally, they lease the aircraft, right? So, you know, Zoe's Airways, I won't name names, Zoe's Airways, leases from aircraft leasing company A. I say to them, look, I will pay you rent for an aircraft, and then I'm going to fly people around. So then we agree to rent. I get their asset. I then am obliged to insure their asset and make sure that it's safe, right? So all the usual insurances, first party, third party, on the ground, etc. Now, a lot of my work, though, I'm reliant on cash flow as an airline. And in the normal course of action, if an airline does not pay their insurance costs, that's my dog, because somebody's doing something outside. If the airline doesn't pay their insurance, the insurance people issue notice of cancellation. The insurance broker has to tell the lessor. The lessor says, you either pay your insurance or you give me back my asset. End of the story. I'm not having my very, very nice asset out there uninsured, even if it's on the ground, because you have third-party damage that can happen from other people or elements or stuff. So in this case, if everybody exerted their rights by contract, so let's start. There's nobody flying. Airlines are running out of liquidity. They're thinking, which ones of my liabilities can I pay? Who do I have to pay? Just like we all would do with our own finances, or our own home finances, right? And then if they don't pay their insurance, then this chain of action goes into play. If the lessors say, fine, I want my asset back, who's going to fly the asset back to home base? Where is home base? And do we have enough room to put them all? And what are they going to do with this great asset? So this is forbearance thinking, if you want to coin a phrase. We all have to give each other a break. And I don't know who has to give who a break. And I'm not recommending anything because that's not my place. But I'm just saying that's how things normally worked. I've worked as a broker. I've issued notice of cancellations for non-payment of premium, and I know what happens next. And I know people that go get the airplanes and return them to where they are owned. And how is this going to work right now if we all exert our rights? So in the spirit of what's going on with your happy lockdown chart or your dog walking, we have to make sure that there's an industry left for us when we get to come out.